y'all, what's going on? Just to let y'all know in advance, I will not be watching my mouth. So if you're going to be easily triggered, this is not the content for you. Me and my subscribers have real discussions about trending topics going on all around the world. We can either agree to disagree or we can agree to agree. So with that disclaimer being said, let's get into this video. Coco, bone strong. Coco, bone strong. All about money. So sweet like some honey. Tasting my chocolate chip cookie. I need an ass with no rookie. Yeah. Coco, bone strong. Coco, bone strong. All about money. So sweet like some honey. Tasting my chocolate chip cookie. Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your girl Tosh, aka Coco Bone, and I want to come at you guys with a rant video on another YouTuber now. I'm just laughing because y'all be in y'all bag and in y'all feelings when I just have no filter and I let it all out. But hey, that's what y'all be expecting when y'all come to my channel, because I comes with what? No filter, and I give what? 2 fucks about how anyone else feels. But yes, however, I did wanted to come to you guys with another voiceover rant video. And today's YouTuber we will be ranting a little bit about is about Real Talk with Yanni. Okay, now I've been a Yanni fan for about, I think, 2-3 years now. I've been subbed to her channel for quite some time until I have heard a recent comment regarding the Iyanla Vanzant interview with the lawyer Ebony. I don't really know her last name, but y'all know the interview that I'm talking about, because I'm gonna put a clip of that interview into this video. And then I'm also going to be playing another clip of Yanni reacting to that interview and giving her take on it. And I would like to give my take on the interview and also what Yanni had to say about the interview that had kind of struck a little bit of a nerve or ruffled my feathers. Yes, I got bothered, and yes, I'm about to get in my feelings. So if you don't mind me talking my ish, please stay tuned and keep listening and watching, okay? Now, the way I want to do this, I am going to insert the interview clip and I'm going to be giving my personal opinion about that. And then after that, I'm going to insert Real Talk with Yanni's clip and then also give my opinion about that. I don't want to make this too long. If it do end up being too long, oh well, I still said what I said. So let's go ahead and insert the first clip of the interview between Ebony, the lawyer, and Iyanla, I can never pronounce that woman's name right, but Iyanla Vanzant, I believe that's how you say it. I'm going to insert that clip and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
I don't know, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build. When some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I could build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver. So I think some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today keeps us unhappy, keeps us angry, keeps us imbalance. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And it's not working, beloved. It's just not working. So it's not that it's bad or wrong. It's obsolete. It's obsolete. We have to come up with a new way of being. I don't believe in carrying a man. A man has to do for himself. My son got his first job when he was 9. 9, okay? Because you're a black man, you will know how to take care of yourself. But I think the way we measure it, it's just obsolete.
I think that's a factual analysis. For whatever we want, expect, we're told we were going to get, we got to look at the numbers and what's available on the marketplace. So you're certainly not wrong in the analysis. And Yana, let's tell the truth and shame the devil. We know what you got in that prenup would never be little. It'll never be small. Child, that's a big old mound of assets. But that's okay.
Now, to give my opinion on the Iyanla Vanzant and the Ebony lawyer girl clip, I'm only saying that because, again, I have no idea who this woman Ebony is. I just know that she's a lawyer and whatnot from the research I've done. But Iyanla had a very good point. At the end of the day, women should date up. I do agree with Ebony the lawyer on that. What Ebony the lawyer is saying is women, especially black women, because black women are taught to date down all the time. Black women, if you're at a particular stature in your life and that's what you prefer to date, go and date that because you earn that and you deserve that. And black women have a right to date up versus dating down. But then on the flip side of Iyanla Vanzant and what she's saying that besides the finances, we should also look at the morals and the integrity of a man for him to be a good man. Because let's keep it real. The first movie that popped in my mind when it came to this particular comment that went viral and people are having this debate about it was the movie Medea's Family Reunion. So anyone that has watched that movie, the story is about two sisters that have a complete, awful, and narcissistic, terrible mom that only cares about the younger daughter versus the older daughter. She put the older daughter through hell, sold her to other men. You guys get the drift on that. And the older daughter went through a lot of heartache and basically just a lot of turmoil with the mom versus the younger daughter. The younger daughter had the best of the best. She made sure the younger daughter had all of the nice designer this, designer that. Moving on into their adult life, the younger daughter was engaged to a very successful black lawyer, that's a man, and the older daughter was starting to be interested within a bus driver, right? So of course the mother had looked down on the older daughter like usually, and her new man, because her new man was a bus driver. And she looked at the younger daughter in a more higher standard because the younger daughter was dating a big time lawyer. But the big time lawyer had mommy issues, and the big time lawyer was verbally and physically abusive to the younger daughter so much to where the younger daughter wanted to get out. She didn't give a fuck about his money. She didn't give a fuck about his material things. She didn't give a fuck about his status. She was tired of him and all of his riches and his nice luxurious bullshit because he was what? He was controlling and he was verbally abusive and he was physically abusive versus the older daughter that was dating the bus driver. Now, yes, okay, he's a bus driver. So he's probably averaging about maybe 40 to like 50,000 a year versus the lawyer that's averaging about maybe like 90,000 to 100,000 a year. I'm just assuming. I did not look up their yearly income for a lawyer. I'm not sure, but I do know lawyers make bank, okay? But however, the bus driver had a warm heart, he had a warm soul, and he had integrity and morals and value. And because of that, that's what made the older sister in a more loving and happy relationship versus the younger sister that was in a turmoil relationship, even though that she's around all of the best materialistic things. So the point that I'm getting at is, at the end of that movie, the younger sister threw a pot of grits on the nice lawyer and beat the shit out of him with that pan and threw that engagement ring fast at his ass because she was tired of the mental and verbal and physical abuse. Versus the older sister had ended up marrying the bus driver because spiritually and morally And integrally, she was happy with the bus driver because the bus driver had a warm, rich soul that catered to her warm, rich soul. And that is going to make a beautiful household and a beautiful Black family because there's love besides the financial and the status and the position. So at the end of the day, do I feel Black women have a right to date up versus down? Absolutely. But however, on the flip side, do I feel that Black women should just toss a good man to the side because their status doesn't meet theirs? In my personal opinion, I personally think not. And I feel like women end up screwing themselves over by focusing more on the finances and the statuses versus who the man is as a person. If you're with a good man that has a great job, which is very rare and hard to find, then yeah, hold on to that nigga. Because like I just said a second ago, that nigga is hard to find. I have not yet to meet no good ass man with good ass money. Okay? Usually when a man got a lot of money, he's a narcissistic asshole and he makes you as the woman feel like shit. Or he is taken up by another different race of woman. Because let's keep it real. The Black men with high statuses and with the finances and stuff like that, they don't go for their own races of women. They go for women that ain't Black. So we're not going to sit up here and pretend like Black men with a lot of money date women that ain't Black. No, they go with the women that are not Black. So that's just one. And two, the men that have a regular job title, such as a bus driver or any type of driver, truck driver, Uber driver, whatever the case may be. Okay, yes, his title might not be to a high status, but he has a great soul and he can still provide and take care of the household. So which one is it? Are you going to choose the rich guy that's going to always make you feel like shit? Or are you going to choose the man that he's not rich, but he's also not poor either? He's comfortable and he has a great, warm, loving, caring, and humble soul. And in my opinion, I will go with the man that has a loving, caring, and humble soul, because your humble soul will be long lasting and forever versus your riches. Because let me tell y'all something. I lost my little cousin last year. Okay, and I lost my great aunt last year. And when I was looking at my aunt being buried into the ground, I sat up and I looked up at the blue sky and the clouds and the trees. And I thought to myself, damn, people really compete with each other. We argue about titles. We argue about money. But when you're dead, you can't take none of that shit with you. So was all the competing and arguing worth it? Because my great aunt couldn't take none of her prized possessions with her in the ground. It was just her going into the ground. So the point that I'm trying to get at is we should always focus on a person's character. Yes, we want someone that makes good money. Yes, we want someone that works just as hard as we do. But what we don't want to do is focus so much onto the status of a man's money and his job title, we forget that this motherfucker should be a good human being as well. I have a younger brother. He's a truck driver. Truck drivers make bank, by the way. Every truck driver I know that's in my family, they all bought their homes. So all of this looking down on drivers or, besides the bus driver, if you're looking down on the truck driver, you're a fucking weirdo for that because they make bank. They make good bank just as well as a lawyer or any other high position job title or job status or whatever. So what I'm saying is you cannot take your money and you cannot buy happiness with it. And that's where the term of can't buy happiness comes from. Because at the end of the day, your internal happiness is your spirit. And you need to get with another person that is about their spirit besides their finances. Yes, we need money to live. We need money to enjoy life. But don't make that the primary number one thing on your list when it comes to finding your soulmate. Because integrity will always have a long existence over finances, in my opinion. So that is my opinion about the interview. Now, let's move on to what Real Talk with Yanni had to say about the interview. And I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
I'm tired of this. Stop explaining yourself. Stop it. Like, people felt the need that I needed to explain myself because I said that I don't want to have kids and bring them back to an apartment building. I don't. And I won't. I'm not bringing kids back to an apartment building. Kids need somewhere they can play and move around. That's what I want for my kids. If that's not what you want, cool. But that's what I want. Why are you bothered by what I want? It has nothing to do with you. It's not your life. It's mine. It's mine. I have to live with the decisions that I make. You don't. So why are you worried about what I'm doing or what I want? Come on. It doesn't even make any sense. Like, I don't want to bring kids back to an apartment. I don't want to struggle in an apartment building. That's not stability to me. Stability is owning a home. That's wealth as well. You got men in the community making fun of women for owning their home. Owning property? Are you serious?
So as you heard what Yanni said that she would never have any kids in an apartment building because kids deserve somewhere to play because they need a lot of space to be kids. Now, I do agree with that to a certain extent. First of all, Yanni, I mean this with love, and please listen before you get in your feelings if you ever hear this. No one's not shaming you for not having a man and for not having no kids in your early 30s. People can shame you for that, but no one's not doing that, or at least to my acknowledgement, no one's not doing that. In my opinion, I think it's smart that you did not hurry up and rush to get with any man just to have kids so no one can throw in your face that you don't have a man and you don't have no kids at your 30-something-year-old age. No one should not be able to shame you for that because you are going about it the smart way. I always tell people with no kids, don't rush to have kids with a person that you are not sure with, because when you get with that person, you want to make sure they are the right parent for you and your kid. So I am glad that you are not rushing and you did not have any kids yet by just any old man. But it does not give you a right to look at actual parents that are living within an apartment with 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, or plus more kids, and you're sitting up here judging them for living within an apartment. I want to tell y'all a little bit about my story real fast. Just recently, the reason why I haven't been recording like that is because I was coming from out of a homeless situation. Now, I was going through some stuff with some personal peoples, and it caused me to be homeless. It caused me to have to find a hotel room and to stay within that hotel room until I get my own apartment or house. But granted, I figure, why spend all this money on a hotel room when I could just chuck it up, be a survivor, and live in my car until I get my own apartment or house? So that's what I chose to do. I stayed in my car and lived in it for 2 weeks and saved up my money, and I got my 1-bedroom apartment for me and my 1 son, okay? And I am very proud of that because at the end of the day, I made sure to have a roof over me and my child's head. Okay, I was not about to sit up here and still live in my car because I'm trying to impress Yanni that's 1,000 miles away from me, someone that I probably would never meet in person because she thinks that it is beneath her to be a parent with a kid in an apartment building. At the end of the day, it's a difference between what you might think you'll do when you become a parent and you push out a kid or 2 versus what you gotta do when you are a parent, because these are the circumstances for right now until you level up into buying your own home. Now, do I got plans to buy my own home? Absolutely. I want to buy my home by next year or by the 2nd year later, tops. Within 2 years tops, I will be buying my home because I do believe that my son should have more of areas to play in, more of space outside to play when he's outside, and he should have his own room. I agree to that 110%, but it doesn't give you a right to shame single parents that is within a position of making sure they have a roof over them and their child's head. So the point I'm getting at is, if you're not a parent and you don't raise kids, or you're not a legal guardian and you're not raising your nieces or nephews, please shut the fuck up and mind your business. And I know that sounds mean and it sounds vulgar, but it's just the God honest truth. You're not a parent. You don't have to live a parent lifestyle. I do. A lot of these YouTubers I like to watch on YouTube, a lot of these motherfuckers don't have no kids. They got all their time to themselves. So they can assume what they might do. They could think what they might do, but you won't know until you're in that predicament and you're an actual parent. People really think single parents just wake up one day and just be like, you know what? I feel like breaking up the family. I'm gonna tell my son's father or my son's mother, whoever's watching this, I'm going to tell the other parent of my child that I don't want to be with their ass no more, and I want to be by myself with our child and struggle until I get back on my feet and get to the goals that I want to get to. No single parent fucking does that. That is the weirdest thing for a motherfucker to think. Like, no fucking parent wakes up and wants to be a single parent. If they're a single parent, it's because they were strong enough to choose their internal happiness over a status. I was not, and I repeat, ain't no way in hell I was going to be with my son's father just to impress all of you motherfuckers that ain't paying my bills, nor taking care of my child. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. Fuck your opinion, respectfully. And I don't mean that in a harsh way. It's just the real, raw, honest truth. Ain't none of y'all opinions paying my bills. Ain't none of y'all opinions taking care of my son. Why am I sitting up here worrying about how a stranger feel about my predicament and what I got to go through to get to the next big level in my life? You ain't doing shit for me. And the point of me saying that is, I personally believe that people should not live their lives to impress other people. These people that you people try to impress, they don't give a fuck about you. And that goes for you too, Yanni. No one cares about you being drop dead gorgeous. No one cares about you being a big time YouTuber with over 200,000 subscribers. Nobody cares about your material things. They don't give a fuck about you. Because we live in a world that is narcissistic and they only care about their stinky ass selves. That is it. And that is about as raw and honest as I can get for y'all. So the point that I'm getting at is, if you're not a parent, don't have no opinion on being a parent if you're not living the parent life. You gotta have experience before you can sit up here and give your opinion or judgment on something. And if you don't have experience with raising a child, just be quiet. Stay in your lane. Leave that topic alone. But don't shame single parents for having to do what they gotta do versus what you think you might and will do. You don't know what the fuck you might do. Now, granted, you're at a more higher position with your YouTube channel, so you can afford from the rip to just buy a home. Congratulations to you, Yanni. But everybody's not at that bracket. Some people are, some people ain't. Some people is on their way. And for me, I'm one of the people that's on my fucking way. But it still don't give you a right to make that particular comment towards single parent. I even had talked to my favorite cousin that's an Aries just like Yanni about this particular statement that she made, and she also felt that the statement was ignorant. I don't know what single parent then piss you off in your life, but don't take that shit out on other single parents, being as though that you're not a mom. When you become a mom, then you can have your personal opinion. But until you are a mom, stay in your lane with all the rest of the people that ain't parents yet and just focus on what you gotta do. Focus on getting a man that meets your criteria. Focus on having a loving relationship with that man besides his finances. Focus on y'all building an empire, not only for yourselves, but for your future kids. That's what you should be focused on. Don't focus on the single parents that had to leave the other parent because the other parent ain't doing what the fuck they supposed to be doing. So now they gotta restart all over with a kid and go up the ladder by them damn selves with their kid along with them. Don't worry about us. We good over here. It's lame that we have to deal with these types of mentalities because of competition. In my personal opinion, we living in 2023. People is trying to fucking live and survive. Ain't nobody up here worrying about no special job titles. Ain't nobody up here worrying about what status you got. Motherfuckers is trying to live. Bitch, we survived after a fucking pandemic. And I'm not calling her a bitch. I'm just talking. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, Motherfuckers is trying to eat, live, and survive. And don't nobody got time to be sitting up here and worrying about who got what status, who got this position. Are you happy? Is the question at the end all to be all. Are you internally and spiritually happy? Because there's plenty of rich kids that have complained and they got issues about their rich ass parents not being around enough for them to feel that love from their parents. So yeah, they had all that money, but what difference did it make? They still grew up with issues because they didn't feel that love. That spiritual love that should come from a human being, and that should come from all humans across the globe. But however, like I said before, we live in a narcissistic world where people only give a fuck about their stinky ass selves and they don't care about nothing else but their selves. If it's not about them, it's not about nothing. And in my opinion, to sum this video all up, I feel that besides the finances, also look into a person's character. If that person's character is fucked up, fuck you, fuck your status, and fuck your money. You can keep all that shit because you as a person fucking suck. And something that I always like to tell people or loved ones or close ones that I have real conversations with, you can't go to the store and buy yourself a brand new personality. That personality gotta come from within. So that's all I wanted to say regarding this topic. If you're offended, then I'm talking about you. If you're not offended, then I'm not talking about you. And I still said what I said, and I feel how I feel, okay? If you don't like what I said, you know what you can do. You can exit stage left.
Oh, bye.
And go watch something else by your damn self, respectfully, okay? But that's all I got regarding this topic that I wanted to give my personal opinion on. You guys, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, show your girl some love, help your girl get to 3,000 subs. Make sure to leave some suggestions down in the comment section down below. And please give me a big thumbs up, for it helps to push my videos further out into the algorithm. I'm out this bitch. Deuces. We live in the world that's extremely so cruel. Hitting below the belt, man, that's not cool. My feelings is numb to the point where I got a fork and I'm just eating this sauce like it's food. Bitch, on I'm corny and ain't gonna be shit. Bitches is hoping I die when I'm sick. I might as well go to the sex store to buy me a strap on to wear, cause they all on my dick. Worry about me and what I just do. Worry about me and what I just said. The audience look at your life as a boo. A fake ass the snake when the real skin have shed.